Welcome children to the second lesson in social studies. The first lesson we had dealt about the Deccan Plateau, isn't it? So now we are going on to the coastal plains and islands. Page 214. Now the first question in the text, name the two groups of Indian islands. They are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Then you have the Lakshadweep group of islands. That's all there. Next one, what do you think is the best thing about living in a coastal area? So, living in a coastal area, there are many things, isn't it? One, you can go to the beach to enjoy a nice evening. Second, you get a lot of fresh fish for your food. Third one, you can enjoy the air or the sea breeze and the in the atmosphere or when you go out. So these are the main things that you will like to stay in a coastal area, that makes you like to stay in a coastal area. Name the three water bodies that surround India. One is the Arabian Sea, then one is the Indian Ocean, and one is the Bay of Bengal. So southern India is covered or surrounded by these three water bodies: Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, and Bay of Bengal. Now page 215. India has a long coastline along its peninsula bordering the Arabian Sea on the west, the Bay of Bengal on the east. The two coasts meet at the Indian Ocean. So if you look at the map on page 214, you find the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, and they meet at a point, and there it forms the Indian Ocean. Western coastal plains. The western coastal plains begin from the Gulf of Kutch in Gujarat and move southwards along the western borders of Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka and Kerala to Kanyakumari, the southernmost tip of the Indian mainland. The western coastal plain is bound by the Arabian Sea on the west and the mountains of the Western Ghats on the east. So if you look at the map in your text, you will find that it starts from the Gulf of Kutch in Gujarat and comes down, crossing the states of Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, and coming to the southernmost tip of Kanyakumari. And it is bound by the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats on one side, on the east. Arabian Sea on the west and Western Ghats on the east. Now the western coastal plain is divided into three main parts. The northern part is the Gujarat or Saurashtra coast. The middle is the Konkan coast, and the southern part is called the Malabar Coast. Now this western coast has three divisions. One is the Gujarat coast or the Saurashtra coast. The middle one is the Konkan coast, or you must have heard of Konkan railway, isn't it? So here we are talking about the Konkan coast, and the last one is the Malabar coast. Now coming to the Gujarat coast. Gujarat coast or Saurashtra coast. The Gujarat coast lies between the Gulf of Kutch and the Gulf of Khambat. The soil here is fertile. Jowar, bajra, wheat, cotton, groundnut and tobacco are grown here. Kandla is a major port in this region. Ahmedabad is the largest city in this region. So coming to the Gujarat coast, it lies in the state of Gujarat, and it lies between the Gulf of Kutch and the Gulf of Khambat. You can see that in the map on the next page opposite. And the soil there is very fertile, that allows for the growth of jowar, bajra, wheat, cotton, groundnut and tobacco. And the major port in that region is Kandla. And Ahmedabad is the largest city. Now coming to the Konkan coast. You all must have heard of the Konkan railway. So here let's read about the Konkan coast. The Konkan coast stretches from the Gulf of Khambat up to Goa. The coastline here is narrow and rocky. Lighthouses have been built along the coast to warn ships that there are rocks in the water. Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka lie on the Konkan coast. Now this Konkan coast starts from the Gulf of Khambat and comes up to Goa. Now here the coastline is very narrow and rocky. That means there are many rocks, and there are many lighthouses built on this coast to warn the ships that there are many rocks out in the sea, and so that they may not come and get cross into this or rocks and meet with a tragic disaster. So there are lighthouses to warn the ships that there are many rocks, dangerous rocks out in the sea. And Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka are on the Konkan coast. Next page please. Mumbai is the biggest port in India and our country's commercial capital is on the Konkan coast. So Mumbai is the biggest port in India and the most important commercial center for India is on this Konkan coast. So that is an important point for you to remember, that Mumbai lies on the Konkan coast. The Konkan coast is rich in oil deposits. That is why you have Trombay or Mumbai High. That is, Trombay is famous for the space center and Mumbai High is known for its oil deposits. Many oil wells have been dug near the Mumbai coast. There is not so much of oil that as we get in the Gulf countries, but there are deposits of oil in the Mumbai coastal region. Now coming to the Malabar coast. The Malabar coast extends from Goa to Kanyakumari. Kerala lies on the Malabar coast. It has several lagoons. These are small and shallow saltwater lakes or ponds that cut themselves off from the main sea. The lagoons are connected with one another by canals. These canals are used to transport goods. Now here the Malabar coast is the coastline of Kerala and it extends from Goa to Kanyakumari. Now here one specialty of this coastline in Kerala is that it has lagoons. Now what is a lagoon? A lagoon is a tiny stretch of water, salty water, that gets cut off from the main sea and it goes inside towards the land. It is not connected to the sea. It's a small, shallow, it's not very deep. It's a salt water lake that is cut off from the main sea and it goes inside the small land, that is the areas of land or patches of land, and these are actually like pathways. There is a lot of water transport in this lagoons because these are connecting road transport for villages, and many items or many things are carried in small boats or ferries on these lagoons. The climate along the Malabar coast is hot and humid throughout the year. It rains heavily during the monsoons. We all know that Kerala is having a very good rainy season, especially for the past 2 or 3 years, and it is hot and humid throughout the year. We don't have a winter, though December is freezing cold in northern India. Here we still use the air conditioners and fans. People here grow rice, coffee, bananas, sugarcane, cloves, cashew nuts, pepper and tobacco. Coconut trees can be seen all along the Malabar coast. Fishing is an important occupation of the people in this region. Now here, Kerala is famous for spices, and that is why you see people growing a lot of cardamom, cloves and nutmeg, then cashew nuts, pepper. All these are spices that are very, very valuable, and also a lot of amount of tea and coffee is grown in the hilly regions because of the enough amount of rainfall that is got here in Kerala. And coconut trees are found in almost every part of Kerala because the temperature is suitable for the growth of the coconut palm. And fishing is a very important occupation for the people of Kerala because it has a very good coastline and there is a lot of different types of fish that are out in the sea that surround Kerala. With this I come to the first part and end of the first part of the lesson. So please do read the lesson at home, the first part, that is page 214, 215 and 216. For your homework, please draw the map shown on page 214 showing the coastal plains and islands. So please don't use any colors, just draw it in pencil. There is no need of shading anything, but you need to label the map as it is done in the textbook. Thank you.